Hello, my name is Christy. Like Haki introduced me, I'm a chartered accountant here in Canada, and I've been in finance for 9 years, going to 10 years. So basically, it's been finance, reducing cost, investment, and all that. So we're just going to start so we don't take so much of our time. So today we're going to talk on how we're going to detoxify ourselves financially, which is the pathway to stability. And so basically, the whole concept of detoxifying is to take away toxins from our system, from our finances. So you know how you detoxify your body and then you feel good afterwards. So that's what we want to do here tonight. So I'm just going to start with this. This is a key message from the government of Canada. And this is what the government of Canada is saying. They're saying income is important, but so are behaviors. Financial well-being has a stronger relations to behaviors than to economic factors. Canadians who avoid borrowing to meet daily expenses and all that, they tend to have a higher financial level than those that borrow more. So what they're saying is, if you earn the same income as if Mr. A and Mr. B makes the same income, and then you tend to borrow more, the one who borrows more have a lower level of financial well-being. And then lastly, the government is telling us that financial confidence and attitude towards spending, savings, and borrowing are very important. Now, what's the pathway to stability? Let's start with what factors affect our well-being. Now, so my days has been, so I'm a licensed advisor here in Canada. So I'm licensed to recommend financial products, sell financial products and all that. So I have seen clients who are, well, who are doing well financially and all that. So, and I've always been very curious. So I've got into what factors affect people's well-being. So I got these 5 stuff to talk about. Very simple and straightforward and very relatable. So the first one is our behaviors. What's our spending habits, borrowing habits, investing habits, savings habits. So all of these habits come together, have a way that they affect our well-being in the long run, even in the short term and all that. So if you tend to spend more, I think in my next slide or so, I'm going to show you the concept of profit making, how what you spend affects you in the long run. And, so all of those behaviors, the financial behaviors come together and they have a way to impact your well-being today and tomorrow. Now, social factors, your friend, where you live. So my folks here in GTA, we tend to have places to go to spend money. Like we have malls almost in every stations and all that. And then every Friday we have clubs you can go to go chill. So compared to folks in maybe in Manitoba, that you probably, if you need to go to the mall, you probably will need to make a trip or something. So all of these affect your spending habits and your well-being in the long run. Like, so if you're in a circle where you have to spend a lot, so it then plays an important role in how you're financially okay today, tomorrow, and So the next one is psychological factors, and this has to do with our mindsets. Do you think you need to look a certain way for people to accept you? Do you think you need to drive a Tesla for your neighbor to know you're okay? Do you think you need to go with an LV bag for your friends to feel you're rich? And all of this stuff is mindsets. Do you think you need to spend money to look good for people to know you're good? I don't see a Bill Gates struggling to drive a Tesla car for you to know Bill Gates is Bill Gates. So all of this thing is mindsets. I go to the mall a lot. And when I go to Yorkdale is my favorite mall. And on the LV, so there's this store, LV, the queue, you see students, people, and you're like, I'm not saying LV is not good, but I'm just saying if you have to go buy an LV or a Gucci bag because you want to be accepted, then that's a mindset thing that you also need to work on that would affect your well-being later on. Now, economic factors, this basically is not something you and I can change, except, we pray to the universe. If you're a Christian, if you're a Muslim, you pray to the universe. So the factors could be income. So no matter how good you want to save, you want to invest, let's say your income is 30,000 and the best accommodation you could get is 20. So you have 10,000 to feed. So there's really little or nothing you can do with this. So except it changes, you then have little power over this. And then lastly is the last factor, which is the big factor, is our financial knowledge and experience. And this is where we, the financial advisors, comes in. So I've been buying shares. I've been in stock markets back home in Nigeria since I was 17. So you could imagine my CSCS account is as old as my age minus 17 years old. I'm not going to tell you. So that's that's how old my CSCS account is. So where I would put my money, where I'm going to invest my money, is pretty much going to be different from maybe a medical doctor who is probably new in investments, or IT folks like you guys who is probably also new. It doesn't mean you're going to make a bad decision financially. It's just that I have more experience and I've done it for so long, and I'm a finance person. So all of this plays a very big factor in where you put your money and how well you invest your money. And that is where we come in to tell you, oh, this is what you should do. This is, we just tailor the whole stuff to meet you and help you. So, and let's just talk about your risk. How do you manage your risk? Now, managing your risk has to also do with your appetite. We know we have the risk seeker. You all know the risk seeker. The risk seeker is someone who is more concerned about the returns, doesn't want to look at the risk. The risk neutral feels my returns should match the risk. And then the risk averse person is someone who is more concerned about the lowest risk. The risk averse love money, but you want the lowest risk. So being a financial advisor, I understand that appetite basically different from individual to individual. So it is my job, it is my duty to ensure that whatever product I am recommending to you, it suits you, it matches your appetite. I'm not going to introduce just a one-size-fits-all product to everyone, and that's where understanding your risk comes into play. Now we talk about management. Do you want to retain your risk? So retaining is you're saying, I'm just going to get a Wealth Simple app or a Questrade app or HighBC app. I'm going to be buying my stock myself. I'm going to be doing everything myself. The traditional investments, I'm going to get onto it myself and retain my risk, whatever it is, albeit risk transfer. You're saying, oh, so for risk transfer, most of the alternative investments have a platform that is built on risk transfer, such that if you want to buy your options, or be it the call option or put options, you go to a clearing home and you're saying, take this premium. I want to buy a call option on Tesla, 1,000 stock in so time. You have transferred the risk to the clearinghouse. So it is their duty to ensure that the other party who is selling you the put option will sell to you when the time comes. You have transferred that risk to the clearinghouse. Now, risk avoidance is you saying, you know what, I don't want to buy stock. I don't want to do anything. I want to take my money to investment home. I want to take my money to Warren. I want to take my money to Mackenzie. I want to take my money to LBC. Take this money. What do you want to give me? 2%. Okay, fine. Give me my 2% guaranteed. Whatever you do with the money is not my business, which is also good. All of this talk, all of this is for you to manage your risk, and it's perfect, it's good. But then we know how to manage risk. So why then do we struggle? Why then do we now see people struggle even at retirement age? Why then do we see some people at 60 flipping burger at McDonald's and all that? Why do we struggle financially? Why do we live from paycheck to paycheck? Now, the first one is failing to plan. I think planning basically has been underestimated. Like people just say, yeah, plan. And growing up, we've been told to plan, but we just do not see the need to plan. We just do not see the need to have a pen and a book and then plan. Like, okay, so I'm a Christian. Sorry, I don't want to quote the Bible, but there's a part of the Bible that says, make your plan very bold. Write it on a table. I think it's in the book of Habakkuk or something. So the need to see the bigger, your short-term goal, long-term goal is very important. So if you do not plan, a friend came into Canada with 35,000, good saving habits. He's been able to save 35,000 and he brought it to Canada. Now, this is where planning comes in. The following month, he saw a car for 30,000 and he bought it outrightly, 30,000. Do you see where planning comes in? Because there's no plan towards the 35,000. He has a good saving habit, but he does not have a plan. He does not even know, he does not have a plan of what he wants to do with the 35,000. So if we do not plan, we are setting up ourselves for failure. And that's what it is. And that's the reason why organizations will pay the FP&A guys. I mean, FP&A, they'll pay us big money to ensure we help them plan. So that's because organizations understand the need for planning. Now, peer pressure. Do you feel, oh, my friend from way back bought a house? Do you feel the need to also buy a house? Buying a house is fantastic, but you don't have to buy a house because when you're not ready, and you don't have to buy a house, you don't have to be pressurized to buy a house, So if you're buying a house because your friend or your neighbor who you are trying to keep up with bought a house, then there's a problem. Then you are setting up yourself. You now see why you're struggling to pay your mortgage because you're not ready. You're struggling to pay your utilities. You're living from paycheck to paycheck. You've just been pressurized unnecessarily. Now living on the past. So we are more like the first generation of our family in Canada. And some of us back home, we have 2 nannies, we have 2 drivers, we have, what have you. But then the truth is, here in Canada, if you want to get a driver, you probably will be paying the driver as much as you make, So do we need a driver here? Not necessarily, but if you do need a driver, then you need to make a certain income for you to be able to afford a driver. So you will not come and say, oh yeah, I used to have a driver back home and your income is 60,000 and you still feel you need a driver in Canada. You're not being realistic. You're living in the past, and the moments we face where we are right now and accept that, oh yeah, I'm in Canada and it is what it is, we would struggle. Now, counting your egg before it hatches. A friend told me last week that, oh, my tax refund is going to be 2.5 or so, and I intend to do this so and so with the money. And I'm like, do people make plans around tax refund? I mean, Trudeau can wake up one morning and say, you know what, I'm not giving tax refund. We want to build hospitals on every street in Canada. Like, so and this happens when you don't have a plan. That's why and that's the reason you probably would, every money you feel is coming, the one that is yours, not yours, you make plans around it. That's one of the reasons why we struggle. Now, because of our time, I'm not going to dwell on this. I'm just going to take us straight to, so what can we do differently? What's the way out? We know why we struggle and all that. Now, and this brings us to the first one, which is the concept of profits. So what is profit? Income less expenses. Now, if you spend as much as you make, you're going to have 0 profits. It's very simple. Organizations, 2 examples, GT Bank, First Bank. So I've always loved to see financial statements of organizations. I study it, I read it, because I also want to know where to invest my money. So I focus more on reading financial statements of organizations before I could invest my money. Now, if you look at First Bank in Nigeria and GT Bank in Nigeria, you see First Bank made so much revenue, 1.3 trillion. And then you see profit after tax, 50 million. And you ask me, And GT Bank, who is probably 500 million revenue, will be making a profit of 200 million profit after tax. And that's because of expenses. Where do you spend your money? How do you spend your money? You could make 200,000 per annum. So if you do not cut down, if you do not have a good cost management scheme, you find yourself spending 150,000. And at the end of the day, you're saving 50,000. And the person who earns 80,000 and spend 30,000, at the end of the year, you're both saving the same amount, which, also maintaining a consistent cost to income ratio. What if you earn 50,000 today and you're saving 25,000, your cost to income ratio is 1 to 2. Now, God is good. You now start earning 100,000. In the minimum, it is compulsory for you to maintain the 1 to 2 cost to income ratio, such that what you're saving is the 50,000, which is ratio 1 to 2 of your income. And that's the whole concept. That's what we're saying. That's what we can do differently. We don't, because we start earning more, you feel, I've outgrown H&M. I can no longer do Zara. It's time to do LV. I love LV. Trust me, I'm a fan of LV. But I'm saying you shouldn't feel the need to go buy LV because your income have increased. You should maintain a consistent cost to income ratio in the minimum. Now, bulk purchase, peak and off peak period. I'm a discount queen. I have friends who will call me, Christy, where can I get this? Where are they doing discounts? Where can I have all the discounts period in my head. I buy cosmetics, I buy beauty products from Sephora, but then I'm mindful of sales period. I know when Sephora would do the 15% off, and then I'll go buy my 2 bottles of face, whatever, I'll put it. I always know when those discounts come into play. Now for travel, except if it is necessary for you to travel in summer, take advantage of the peak and off peak period. A trip is a trip. Off peak period, anytime there is not summer and not festive period, a trip is a trip. If you just want to relax, for me, I could travel in February. I could travel in March. It doesn't necessarily have to be summer because I don't want to spend so much money. So living within your means is another thing we can do differently. Now, living within our means is not affordability. Can I afford a premium condo in downtown Toronto for $3,000 monthly? Yes, I can. But is it within my means? No. Because if I have to pay $3,000 in a premium condo in downtown Toronto, it's going to affect my my investments, my savings. It's going to affect a whole lot of other stuff. So it's not within my means. So living within our means is not affordability. It is, if I do this, will I be able to save? Will I be able to invest? Do I have to go borrow? So it goes beyond what affordability, what I can afford, and if it's within my means. Now, delayed gratification. I have 3,000. You know what? I want to do big girl. I want to go buy a pushy purse. But yeah, I now saw Tesla stock trading for 500. Basically, I know what Tesla stock would trade for. Yeah, and I know how Elon is. I could decide to put my 3,000 and buy Tesla and tell myself in 6 months' time, when I make double my money, I'll go buy my LV purse or my Gucci purse, as the case might be. And then in 6 months, I make double my money. I have 6,000. So I have delayed that luxury lifestyle. And you see me going to, so I have 6,000, 3,000 I could put back into my investments, and I still have my 3,000 to go buy my healthy purse, and I can still live a good life. Now, lastly, diversifying our portfolio. It is good for you to buy stock. It is also good for you to not to buy in a particular sector, because if the sector crashes or something, then you are, how will I put it? You're sort of stuck. You need to know how to, don't say, oh yeah, if I've bought 1,000 units of Tesla, this is how much you would have made. Also remember that if you had bought 1,000 units of Tesla with all your money, Tesla could also go down. So you should learn how to diversify and have a balanced portfolio. Don't buy stock in oil companies or blockchain. Don't do all your money in real estate. Just have it spread out. TFSA, real estate, stock, have everything, a bit of everything. And then finally, in all of my experience back home and all that, when I came into Canada, I went to the bank and I was going to put in my money. And then the bank told me I need to put in my money. The best they offered me was put in my money for maybe 2% for 2 years, lock in my money for 2 years. That's very ridiculous. Like, I just couldn't. So what I did was I started to research. I started to go from one investment home. I got my license, and then I also found a very good product. And then this product is being sold in the bank, but the truth is the tool is expensive in the bank. So you probably would not know about it because it's considered a classified product for the affluent, and that's one way Canadians also make their money. So, and the good thing is when you withdraw your capital and your returns, is just tax-free, and we can't pay tax in our working years, and then when we are retiring, we don't want to pay tax. We've paid our dues. So at retirement, what this tool does is whatever your returns and everything is tax-free, and then your money is protected. In case the investment home, goes bankrupt, your money is protected up to 85%. Historically, investment yield a minimum of 8%. You see your returns every annually, but historically, based on what has been done in the past, it's yield a minimum of 8%. Yeah. And then lastly, this tool, you could just get this with as little as if you set aside $100 monthly, it's very affordable. It's that affordable. But the truth is, if you set aside $100 monthly to get this product, and then for someone who set aside 200, the 200 returns is definitely going to be more than the 100, the person who set aside $100 monthly. And so I'm just going to leave the floor open for Damola to take us on the investment part. So at this point, I've come to the end of my presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for your time. And yes, there's going to be time for question and answer. So please prepare your question, and as soon as Damola is done, then you can start throwing in your question. We'll have about 25 minutes for question. And that was an interesting presentation. But the only thing that you missed out of the reason why, for the cause of financial struggle is actually village people. Most of us that came from.
No, I don't believe in village people.
We have village people that will ask for money that they don't know how it is coming. So you didn't ask that. Anyways, okay. That will come during the question section. If there's any question like that, how we manage them also. So now I'm going to call on Damola to please take the floor for the next 30 minutes. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Akin. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming tonight.
You're welcome.
So do I have the ability to share my screen?
That will be given to you now.
All righty. Yep. Yeah, so to start with, let me first of all thank NIPCA for the invites. This is my second time speaking here, and I don't take it for granted. It's when a man or a people, when they labor to build a platform like this, to build up a community like this, is always a risk, to invite people to come and share the platform. So I don't take it for granted, from the president of NIPCA to all the executives and all the members, the passionate members. I mean, you guys have been passionate from day one. So I thank you for bringing me back again. I do not take it for granted, okay? So tonight, as Christy has said, I'll be speaking on investment strategies, okay? And my topic tonight is on personal finance strategies or personal financial strategy, however you want to put it, okay? So to start with, let me crave your indulgence to put on your imagination hat tonight. Think about, let's take our mind back. I know you guys are IT folks, you are very imaginative people, you know, very innovative and creative. So put on your imagination hat for a minute, please. Just walk with me back to the year 1972, okay? Let's pretend as if, or let's imagine, not pretend, let's imagine that we are all 16 years old in 1972 right now, and we are all 16 years old, okay? And I just want to show you how we make money decisions every single day of our lives. And some of these decisions, they have lasting impact on our future, our finances, and so on. I mean, you've seen the slide that Christy shared. I mean, so let's imagine this is 1970 and we are all 16 years old. Okay, before that, let me just talk about myself a little bit. I think this is very important before we go into that. Just hold that thought for a minute. So I'm mutual fund and life license. And why this is important, that why I brought this up is because most of our Black folks, they don't like interacting with some of us because they believe that, oh, we don't know what we are doing, this and that, and we don't, we are just, we are rogue advisors. So I thought I should show this slide first of all, to show you the level of monitoring, the level of ethics this profession is held to. This is our regulators. These are the people that regulate all of our activities, from the content we share, to how we handle our clients, to posts, to servicing our clients, up to the very end. These are the regulatory bodies that supervises us, monitors us, and we report to every single year. So at any point in time, during any interaction with an advisor in Canada, you can actually, you have a recourse, you have somewhere to go to, that you can express your grievances or redress and so on and so forth. So please, guys, because the conversation will not stop here tonight. I mean, all the things you're going to present, yes, is a concept, is an information, but the conversation shouldn't stop there. You won't, all the things we've learned for years. I mean, look at Christy's resume. She's been trading stocks since year 17. Then I was still running around my estate playing soccer. I mean, and maybe some of us too. So how can you just grab all of that experience in 15 minutes or 30 minutes? It's impossible. So the conversation should continue after the training. So I'm showing you this to have confidence and let us build that trust with you guys so that we can continue the conversation. And, because you can't get everything here. I mean, I saw the topics, how do you reduce taxes? We can't hash out all those topics in one 30 minutes training. So please, we are held to the highest standard in Canada. I'm going to tell you our profession is about the fifth, maybe if you count the top 5 professions in Canada, our profession is going to be there. Doctors, lawyers, accountants, trust me, financial advisors will be there, top 5. Okay? So please be confident when you're around us. And again, we give you the best advice. Your bankers they cannot help you. Trust me, they cannot help you. You heard what Christy said. They only have the product, the best of the products is for the affluent. It's for the affluent. But we know where the shoe pinches. We know the pain points. And that's why we always bring you the best suitable advice and solution to meet your needs. So please, let's feel free. Let's feel very, very comfortable when you're around us. We are not rogue advisors. We are licensed by the government. We are licensed, okay? So having said that, so let's take up let's put back on our thinking hat, our imaginative hat, and let's go back to year 1972. We are all 16 years old, okay? And we decided to start saving 1,000 a month. Sorry, 1,000 per annum. That's about $83 a month, thereabout. And we do that for 50 years. We do that for 50 years. Guys, look at what I have on the screen here. We do that for 50 years. From 1,000 a year at 10%, it becomes $1,280 million in 50 years at 10%. So this is to show you how every single day, whatever decision you make regarding finances or the lack of it is impactful. Now think about it. If let's say some of us waited and say, okay, oh, maybe some of us, maybe Aki, I'm just speaking on you because you are the host tonight. So, or maybe some of my friends here, maybe Remy decided to wait for 10 more years. I said, oh, let me enjoy myself. Let me buy LV, like Christy said, and I want to enjoy it for the next 10 years. I decided to wait for 10 more years before saving. Let me show you what that's going to look like. You waited 10 more years. After 40 years, in the same year, in 2022, you have just barely $500,000. You lose over 700,000. Waiting for mere 10 years could cost you over 700K. I mean, can you see how mind-boggling that figure is? For you just waiting to save 1,000 per annum to $86 or so a month. Monies that we use to drink coffee on a good day, latte in downtown Toronto, downtown, those people that work downtown. Because you can't use $83 to eat lunch in a month. It's not possible. That's your coffee money for a month. And this is just one example and one scenario of many that could happen. So this is an example of how lack of understanding of personal finance can have a tremendous impact on your future. So tonight, my primary assignment or goal is to, for this presentation, is to provide you with some financial concepts that you can use, to meet your financial or build your financial future and so on and so forth. So I'm going to talk about these 4 things. The first one is phases of wealth. Phases of wealth. There are different phases of building wealth. The second one is the wealth formula. There's actually a wealth formula. If you want to build wealth, there's a formula to it. And the third thing is how to develop a purposeful investment strategy. If time permits us, we're going to talk about retirement, how to build a retirement plan and retire in peace, okay? And so on and so forth. So first things first, the 3 phases of wealth building. The first phase is the accumulation phase. And we all know that. We all know about everybody wants to invest and build wealth and build assets. We all know that. We all know that. But what about the distribution phase? We know that too, but we talk less about it. We don't think it's so important as the accumulation phase. And the last phase is the transfer, estate transfer. Because whatever wealth you build, chances are, if you build enough wealth, you might not spend it all. How do you ensure that you're able to transfer the money to the next generation in a tax-efficient manner? And of course, most of the emphasis is on accumulation phase, and for good reasons, guys. I know that, because whatever you do here is what's, the consequence is what's going to affects, or the decision right there is what will affect the distribution phase or the decumulation phase and the transfer phase too. Whatever you set up here, whatever plan you implement here in the accumulation phase affects the remaining phases. So that's why I believe there's so much emphasis in the accumulation phase, you know, investment strategies and things like that. But no, guys, there are three phases. It's equally important. The three phases are equally important. But of course, this is more important because whatever you do, you affect the rest, okay? So let's take it out of the way. So the first question that comes to mind when you talk about accumulation or investing is, why do we invest? Why do you want to invest? Again, you need to have a plan for each investment. We call it objectives. You can't just invest for investing. You need to have objectives. Remember the example Christy gave earlier about someone saving 35,000 and then spent 30K right off the bat to buy just one item. Why? Because there was no plan, there was no objective for that money. So each of your investments should have an objective. Don't just save for saving, okay, for whatever comes and you. No. You have a separate investment to buy a house, a separate one for your children's education, a separate one for your vacation, a separate investment for retirement, and a separate account for major purchases, and so on and so forth. You need to have, because all of these are different strategies. You cannot use the same strategy for saving to buy a home and use that same one for retirement. It's not going to work. You will lose money. So you need to have a clear, defined objective for your investments, each of them. Okay? That's the first thing. And then the next thing is wealth formula. I'm going to be running through, so please race along with me. If you have any question, put it in the chat. We'll go through everything before we leave tonight, okay? And of course, like I said, we'll continue the conversation. So now let's look at the wealth formula, because there's a formula to do this, okay? So we all know money. You need money to make money. That is given. We all know that. We all know that. So the first ingredient here is money. But what about time? Time is not, people take time for granted. Time is money, guys. That's why it's coming right after money. Time is money. So the formula goes money plus time, plus or minus rate of return, minus inflation, minus taxes equals your wealth. You need to get a handle of this formula every time you're investing. Everything should work for you when you're investing. So what I'm going to show you is to know how you can reduce the negatives and increase the positives, okay? Is that a deal?
Then someone would call out to me, what town are you from? You don't say, I'm from one of the tribes of...
Okay, so someone is interrupting, maybe a child is...
from one of...
Oluwakemi, please mute your mic. Thank you. So money plus time, plus or minus rate of return, minus inflation, minus taxes equals wealth. Okay, so let's talk about time. I already gave you an example at the beginning about time, how time affects money. So let's look at these two examples. I know you got it earlier, but just for good measure, let's look at it again. So 25-year-old lady, Christy, maybe, and then a 35-year, a friend equally the same age, you know, they were supposed to start at the same time. But the second lady, maybe Christy's distant cousin or co-worker, decided to start 10 years later. Now look at this. Now look at this. Christy's just saved 55K. Look at the amount there, all together, and she stopped saving. She saved only for 10 years and stopped saving. And look at the Christy's co-worker that she talked to, save, but she was enjoying Lagos life and all that. And this lady started 10 years later. Okay, don't worry, one is coming. I'm a banker, one is coming. So, but again, she started saving, which is fine. at the age of 35. Well, look at the difference when they got to 60. Look at Christy's balance. Look at our friend's balance. I mean, look at the difference. Even though Christy saved way less than the other lady. Why? It's time. Because Christy has already gathered momentum. The first 10 years she saved. And then she is just coming after. Though she can even save more. Imagine if Christy continues saving. I mean, this lady, this person would not even see the radar of this balance at all. So that's how time affects money. Every day you're not saving, you're losing money, period. That's it. That's the conclusion here. Every day there's no money going to investments, you are losing money. Because look at this, how can you explain this? 10 years and she stopped. Why? Because of the time and the compounding effect of the interest rates, okay? So now let's look at the rate of returns. I'm looking at the word formula, okay, guys? So there's a concept, you know, in finances, the concept of compound interest. We all know compound interest. We all know compound interest. But do we know how it affects our investments for good or for bad? Now look at this example, these 4 examples here. I mean, at 0, all of them started with 10,000. The first person got 1.5%, which is what the bank will give you. And people are still going there, which is fine. If you get better, the bank will give you 3%. So these people are with the banks. But this third person was a little bit savvy. I said, okay, I think I heard Damola one day and Christy say we can get between 8 to 10%. And then, okay, he tried and he got 6%. Fine. Maybe based on the risk appetite. Fine. But look at 12%. Now look at the 4 of them at the age of 48. I mean, which of the column would you rather be? The green column or the purple column? You tell me. So why are you guys staying with 1.5? If you can think about your interest rate right now, whatever your investment is right now, think about it and use this rule of 72, which is a compound interest rule or calculation, to divide the interest rate. You see how long it will take for your money to double. That is this rule of 72. So if you divide 72 by 1.5, it's going to be 48. That's why this 10,000 doubles after 48 years. If you take 72 and divide by 12, it's going to be 6. That's why after every six years, this money doubles. So this is the rule called the rule of 72. You divide 72 by the interest that your investment is earning, and you will get the number of years it will take for that investment to double. Let me tell you a quick story about this. I shared with a friend of mine when I learned this back in the days. And the guy started crying. I was wondering, why are you crying? I'm trying to teach you something good that you can, use for yourself. And the guy was crying. Why are you crying, my friend? He said because he did the calculation in his head and he discovered that his money, he would have died before he can spend the money, because he's earning 1% with the bank on his GIC. That's why he was crying. I said, don't worry. I was able to help him. But thank God for that. So guys, do the calculation yourself and see how long it will take for your money to double. If you're like my friend, any 1% or 1.5, we can help you. Okay, learn this now. Learn this and learn it for good. Now, rule of 72 is one of the most important discoveries in finance. Okay, and it shows 2 types of people. Okay, it shows that some people, they don't understand how money works. That's why they keep their money where it's not growing and they are still keeping their money there. And the second set of people are the people who know how money works and they let their money work for them. I mean, you cannot debate this. You cannot debate this result, this purple column. This money is working for this person. This money is working for this person, period. So now, remember that the bank is going to charge you double digits on their credit instrument or solution or product. So imagine your investment is earning 1 point something or 2%, and then you are borrowing from the bank at almost at double digits interest rates, or maybe whatever, maybe they give you open or unsecured line of credit at maybe 8 or 6% or whatever. It's still very high. You're still paying them. So at the end of the day, we work for the government and for the bank. That's what we do all day. That's why they get richer, and then we get poorer. And we still go to the bank, and we don't trust people like us that will bring them sound information to help them. All right, let's go. Let's keep going. Taxes. I'm glad people want to know about taxes. We can show you how you can save on taxes. Okay, but that's not the slide that's coming after. This is part of the word formula, because anything you do in Canada, you should know this. When you make money, the government will tax you. Know that. It's called income tax. I'm sure we all know that. When you save the money, when you spend the money, the government will still tax you. We all know about sales taxes, HST, GST, and so on and so forth. And then when you save the money, they tax you. Capital gains tax, interest income tax, dividend tax. They have all kinds of sophisticated names for these taxes. And eventually, when we all die, we still pay taxes to the government, called probate tax. And no wonder the anthem of Canada is "Oh Canada." Why do you guys think we all owe Canada? We owe Canada whether we are alive or we are dead. It's a terrible thing, guys. We owe Canada whether we are alive or dead. So, guys, we need to, again, this is Canada. This is a very law-abiding country. There's no way to evade. You cannot evade. It's a crime, right? You can't evade taxes. I'm not suggesting you evade taxes. I'm just giving you a fact that we are in a multiple tax regime. And then all you need to do is pay your fair share. Christy said it's pay your tax while you're working, and then you still pay tax when you're in retirement. I mean, why? Why do you want to put yourself in that box? Why don't you want to commit yourself to learning and then talking to people that will help you? Why? Benjamin Franklin said something that is very profound. He said, nothing in this world is certain except for debt and taxes. And it's true. I agree with this. And I showed you earlier. So I researched the G7 countries, okay, and their personal income tax rates. Guess what? Canada came second after France. This is France right here. This is Canada. France is the highest, 54.5. And Canada came second. This is not personal income tax. The one they charge people like us as we make our personal income. So this is not a joke, guys. That means that for every $1, again, it's because we're in a progressive tax system in Canada. So I'm sure all of us are not paying 53.5. I know that. Some of us are paying less. Some are paying more than that. If you're earning more, you pay more, definitely. Okay? So this is one thing I want you to understand. Mutual funds, because I promise I'm going to show you investment strategies. Mutual funds. And why I want to show you mutual funds is because there's a lot of sensational or trendy news, going around, do it yourself kind of deal, investment in Wealth Simple, all this kind of deal. Fine, you can do it. It's not bad, but trust me, there's something better. It's called mutual funds. Okay? Mutual fund, you can start as low as with $20, $25, $50. Okay? And it offers diversification. That is one thing you need to know. So even though you don't have enough money to buy a real estate, you can actually put your money in a fund that has real estate stocks. So you are indirectly investing in real estate. You might not be able to afford or buy Tesla stock. I mean, how many can you even buy with $1,000? The 1 unit is about 1,000 plus now. Am I correct, Christy? 1 unit of Tesla stock. So if you're investing 1,000 a month,
it's less than, so you can still buy 1 unit with 1,000.
Okay, it's less. So 1 unit and maybe a quarter. So with 1,000 investment or savings a month, how many units of Tesla can you buy? Maybe 1.25. What is that going to do to you? But if you put that 1,000 in this investment, you buy different units from different portfolios of investment of mutual funds. And the third thing here is professional money management, guys. There's no way, I say it again, there's no way that ordinary people, any kind of person will just go open a Wealthsimple account and say, I'm going to do it myself, and then you beat these guys. No way. Christy talk about experience. These people, they have experience about the market. They have access to information that you will not have access to. Before the information breaks out, they've already taken positions. They've already taken positions everywhere. They've already put in their everything. They've done everything. The breaking news for you is old news for them. They have access to the CFOs, the CEOs, the COOs. They talk to Jeff Bezos, talk to all kinds of people. They know what they want to do. And before they do it, they already take position. So how can you, that you are just, doing your 1,000 a month or whatever, and then you want to time the market and beat these guys? There's no way you can beat them. They have tools, sophisticated analytics tool, predictive analytics tool. I mean, you guys are IT. They know what they are doing. You can never beat them. It's not a curse. It is a fact. And of course, the mutual fund is very liquid. You can go in and out anytime. Nobody's going to ask you, no questions asked. It's very liquid. So your likes of the money you want to save to buy a house for vacation that you can spend anytime, emergency funds, it can be in a mutual fund. Don't mix it together with, I'm saving for my retirement, and then in case I want to go on vacation, or I want to buy a house, I want to go and withdraw. No, except you're doing the first time home buyer withdrawal in your RSP, except for that. And that's another topic entirely. Then the index fund. Index fund is different from mutual fund. It's a mutual fund, but it's a little bit different. Because index fund is a portfolio of securities that is designed to mirror or mimic a certain index, a certain market or stock market or market index, benchmark, we call it also. It's to mimic the performance of the benchmark, the composition and the performance of the benchmark, okay? And it's a passive investment strategy. So one thing I didn't mention here, professional money management, it comes with a cost because these people are not working for free. It's a team, it's not one person, it's not two people, it's a team of portfolio managers. So there's a high cost to mutual fund investments. But index fund, yes, there's still a cost, but it's very low compared to mutual funds. Okay? This is where you see the likes of ETFs too, index fund. Okay? And the performance is good. Okay, it's very good, but it's designed to just deliver or to mimic the performance of that underlying index that is mimicking. Okay? All right. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat. I'm just running through because I'm looking at the time. I don't want to take, because there's still many slides we're going to go through. Types of index funds. These are the types. There are many more. I'm just putting these ones. These are the ones I use I use more than this, but these are the top 4 I like using when I'm investing for my clients. And I'm very sure Christy are familiar with these 4 too. All right, now segregated fund. The same deal with mutual funds, but there's a little bit of twist to segregated funds. Okay, of course, you get the growth of the mutual fund or index fund, but unlike mutual fund, it offers you protection. It offers you guarantee. So it offers you guarantees like you will not lose your principal, all or part of your principal. Okay, that's a major thing about segregated funds. So mutual fund doesn't give you all those kind of protections. If the market is good, you enjoy the gains. If the market is bad, you embrace the losses. But segregated funds offers protection on parts or whole of your investment, okay? And of course, it comes with traditional fees too. You know, whenever you hear guarantee, just ask how much. Anywhere in Canada, whenever you hear guarantee, just ask how much. How much is it? Guarantee is not free. Anything that is guaranteed is not free. But these are the advantages of of segregated funds, rather, because it's a very good solution, but not for everybody. Okay, the first thing you should know is it's going to guarantee your principal. You invest 20,000 into a seg fund, you can guarantee 75%, 80%, or 100% of your 20K. Okay. Second thing is you have what is called a death benefit guarantee. Mutual fund doesn't have this. Mutual fund doesn't have a death benefit guarantee. If someone opens a mutual fund account and then the person passes on, that account is not guaranteed to get to the beneficiary. It might get to the beneficiary, but again, it's not guaranteed to get there. It will go through a process called the probate process. Okay? Probate process is a court system where they determine your assets and losses after death. And then they assign tax lawyers, tax accountants to do your audits and then settle your debt. The rest, after they've been paid, then goes to your beneficiary. But segregated funds guarantee that nobody can touch your money. It goes straight to your beneficiary. Number 3, your creditors cannot touch your investments in seg funds. Okay? Mutual fund does not have that too. If you have money in mutual funds and then the person passes away and you have a lot of liabilities, your creditors can lay claims on the balance in your investment and they will give them. And that's why they have to do the probate process. So, and number 4 is it bypasses probates because of these 2, right? Because of 2 and 3, definitely it will bypass the court process. It goes straight to your beneficiary. These benefits or advantages are only specific or unique to segregated funds. Okay? So let's look at the 3 types of investment strategies: the passive investment, the active investment, and the self-directed. Passive is very good because it comes with low fees and low overheads. You don't pay too much on fees. You still get the returns, very decent returns. I mean, S&P 500. Let's go back to those S&P 500. This is a stock market index that measures the stock performances of 500 large companies listed on the stock exchange of the United States. I mean, how can you lose money here? Look at NASDAQ index. The largest non-financial companies in the NASDAQ composites. This is where the technology companies are, tech companies. All the tech companies you know in the world, they are here in NASDAQ. How can you lose money in these markets? And look at the FTSE index, 100 companies listed on the London Stock Exchange. I mean, how can you lose money here? So these are not just flyby kind of markets. These are markets, historical markets that has delivered for people. People that have come, they've gone, they've come, they've gone, and it's still delivering. And it will always deliver, period. Because you all know the trend of the market. It will fluctuate, it is volatile, but in the long run, you know it's going to go up. We all know that. There's no debate on that. So you get the market returns. And then, of course, your exposure to risk is reduced, okay? But active, there's high management fees. I told you the portfolio managers, they are very, very good at what they do. And because they always try to outperform the markets. So they always try to outperform every single benchmark. That's their objective. And that's why they hold cash. So they hold cash to take advantage of new opportunities in the markets. Okay, so that's active. Now, self-directed. Of course, some people say, they're not charging fees. That's not true. The best you can get is low fees. Nobody will give you an app to trade and they won't charge you fees. Trading comes with a cost. Investment comes with a cost anywhere in the world. So if they don't charge it to you now, it's called back-end charge. Okay, or deferred charges. They'll charge it after you sell or when you sell. Okay, and there's a lot of emotions in investing because you want to time the markets. I want to time the markets. Okay, so there's no purposeful investment. It's just all emotional investing, and your returns are, of course, the returns are always sporadic. You can never beat the portfolio managers, because the returns will be sporadic. There's no objective. There's no nothing. You're just doing it because the banks told you, you can do it yourself. So you do it yourself. Meanwhile, you don't know the bank is selling a product. I've worked in the bank. The battle cry of a CA, of a CEO, is to maximize the shareholders' returns. Period. That's the battle cry of a CEO. That is the objective. That's the commission of a CEO, not to increase the portfolio of a client. No. So any tool they give to you is for them to gain, not for you to gain. We need to open our eyes and see these things. It's not for you to gain anything. You cannot do it yourself. There's no way. It comes with a lot of risk. It comes with a lot of risk, guys. So how do you invest? This is emotional investing. You can try to time the market by buying low and selling high. But again, how do you time? Do you know how you're going to time? Do you know what is even low? Do you know how to evaluate stock to know which one is a value stock and is trading is trading at a discount? Or are you sure the one you are buying low is not even, you are not buying at a premium? So many variables you cannot handle. Trust me. Or you can simply invest consistent amounts. This is the one that I will recommend at intervals, maybe monthly, quarterly, yearly, regardless of the performance of the markets. And what do you get? You get what I call the dollar cost average. So dollar cost average is a purposeful investment strategy because it takes a move. Sorry?
Hi, Damola, sorry. I don't know how many slides you still have, but because we want to give as much time as possible for Q&A. I don't know, maybe some of those things could also be, we have a few questions in the chat now. And let me just give me 2 minutes to just run through this. And then all right. And that's what I'm trying to rush. So dollar cost average is just a strategy you use in investing because it takes emotions out of investments, okay? And it runs counterintuitive to every human emotions, okay? You invest constantly the same amount of money and you buy when the market is high or low. But at the end of the day, your costs will average out and you make money, period. So retirements, please understand this concept called fungibility. It's a very important concept about money. So fungibility simply means no matter where your money is, as long as it's of equal value, you're fine, okay? So gold is a fungible asset, okay? Gold is a fungible, cash of course is a fungible asset. As long as it meets all these criteria. So the next thing is, how do you increase the value? That's it. Whether the money is in this instrument or that instrument or this, because when we try to advise some people, we tell them invest in this, they
they become skeptical that, oh, why this, why not that, why not that, why not that, why not that. But this is the same money. It's valuable whether it's in real estate, it's valuable whether it's in investment products, whether it's in insurance products, is equally valuable. And that's the concept of fungibility. So I won't be able to talk about TFSA RSP. Let me just quickly go to the solution that Christy was talking about. So this is a solution, and I'm going to just talk about it for 2 minutes, and then we'll go to Q&A. So imagine it under a 1,000 investment a month for 30 years at 7.5%. So 1,000 a month, 30 years at 7.5%. At the end of the day, you get a balance of 1.2 million, or 1.3, close to 1.3. Okay. Now let's go to another product called the Insured Retirement Plan or Strategy. The same kind of deal, 1,000 at 7.5%. Okay. And now look at the investments. These are index funds. These are indexes. So they have very, very low costs. Okay. Now let's look at the difference. Now this is an insured retirement strategy. This is the product Christy mentioned earlier. This is the product wealthy people, they invest into and make more money for themselves and their families. It's a very tax efficient product. Now, with the same amount, 1,000 per month, so 12,000 per annum, as you can see, annual premium. But this time you have a guaranteed death benefits. In case anything happens to you, you die too early, you get your family gets $500,000. But in case you live up to retirement age, which is 66, 1.2 million is there for you to spend. And according to the calculation I made, this policy or this plan can deliver to you 102K every year for the rest of your life. As you can see, you see, and it's growing, it's growing, it's growing. This year, this is age 85, up to age 100. This policy can deliver. Look at the growth, 30 million. And after all is said and done, you lived up to the great old age of 100. There's still 4 million for your family to take away. So tell me, how can you compare to this to whatever the bank will offer you? So this is just one of the many products we offer. So let's just compare the two products. TFSA, you invest 360K, you get 1.2 million. Your retirement income per annum is 37,941. So I'll just skip through this one. But the insured retirement strategy, you invest the same 360K. Oh, sorry, that's not. You invest the same 360K, but you get 3.5 million at the least. Then your retirement income is 102,000 per annum. So guys, choice is yours. Thank you guys for listening, and let's connect. Let's continue the conversation. Let's connect. Let's talk more about this because there's so much more to talk about. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. I could see how much you really prepared for us, but unfortunately, time will not permit us to go through all of the presentations. So we have about 6 questions in the chat for now. So I'll just be throwing the questions randomly at both of you, and if there's anyone that I will require maybe the other person to also chip in, we'll allow that. So the first question is from Samuel. Said, I'm in the UK while my partner is there in Canada. She invited me to join this in order to understand things there. I want to know how the financial system works there and opportunity life got there. So that is the first question there. Christy, are you taking that?
Okay, so can you take the question again? Just the last part.
Yes, said I want to know how the financial system works there and opportunities life got there.
Okay, so I'm assuming this person wants to know how investment What?
in Canada because it's currently in UK.
Yeah, so basically, like Damola rightly said, coming to financial advisors who understand what we need, it's always very easy than going to the bank. So the bank is the bank, and the bank is there to make money. So probably the bank would offer products of maybe 1%, 2%, at max 4%. But what investment like insurance companies, investment places, what they offer is usually greater than the bank, because they tend to put your money in funds like stock markets, S&P 500, NASDAQ 100 and all that. So it's I really need to also know what, when it says opportunity, is this person talking about
maybe in terms of investment?
Okay, yes. So there are, like, the list is endless. If we're gonna start on the investment opportunities in Canada, we're just gonna spend the whole day. So, but then it depends on what you want for us to be able to tailor and tell you, oh, this is what suits you. We then also have to calculate your appetite. If I'm going to talk to you, for instance, I'm going to see your needs, calculate your ability, then the whole financial policy comes into place, like what's your ability, what's your personality. So the product that suits A might not suit B.
Okay.
So it then boils down to coming to talk to us for us to tell you, oh, this is the best for you, and this is the reason why this is the best one for you.
Okay.
I'm the one that asked the question, yeah?
Okay, it's here.
Good. Well done. Yeah, you're doing a good job. I think what I really want to know is in respect to, you spoke about investment. Yeah, I could see your investment. You're much more into investment. The ideology I have about you guys, or sorry, when I mean you guys, Canada is it's quite a very stiff economy there, and it's more of a how do I put it now? A professional environment. Yeah, I understand. When I talk about opportunities, I mean, with investment, I know you maybe fit more from the American stock and all that. That's in respect to investment, one, and secondly, in respect to life expectancy, basically, like what is your, and certainly your tax laws, because I know here I pay 20% for tax and all that. I want to know your tax laws basically there, and because if I'm switching over there based on the profession I'm in here, I want to be able to like do a rough calculation of what I could be making and what I'm paying your government, because he said like 56% goes to the government and all that. And I was a bit surprised because if Canada is taxing me more than the UK as we speak, it's mind blowing. Because even here, I'm complaining about the tax. I'm now moving to a place where I would be giving the government 56% or thereabout. Is even much more like a blow to me. So yeah, I know there will be other means of making up the money and everything. My wife explains all those very, very close to $1 for tax and everything. I'm always like, how would you do that? How are you people surviving and all that? So those are the questions I want to know. One, investment opportunities. Two, life expectancy, basically. And three, because my wife is into IT, so she can maneuver her ways, her wages and everything is okay. What of someone in management that is basically not into IT and all that? What are the expectancies for such person? I'm much more into project management and all that. And thirdly, the tax, scalabilities and all that. Thank you.
Okay, Samuel, we're going to have to take some of these questions out of this class. So I'll drop my number. I think I dropped my number sometime. So, but then I did, so I'm chartered in the UK, and I'm also a chartered accountant here in Canada. And I could say this authoritatively, that the tax system in the UK is not any better than the tax system here in Canada. That I am 100% sure. As an accountant, not as your financial advisor now. I am talking from an accounting standpoint.
The same rigor I'm trying to minimize is what I'm still going to come and romance. Indirect, is that what you're saying?
No. I'm saying Canada is better. Now, because I studied both tax, I studied UK tax and I studied Canada tax. And I'm saying the Canada tax is better than the UK tax. Trust me, it is. It is. The UK tax is something else. So
Sorry.
I don't know where the 56% is coming from, but
No. Based on the slide, that's why I want a full clarification.
So Samuel, let me, since I shared the slides, so
Okay.
I added a caveat, right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
said
Okay.
in Canada, we are using a progressive tax system, okay?
Exactly.
So what that means is that is the highest tax brackets or tax rates, marginal tax rate. It depends on your income. You might not fall to, you might fall in between, okay? The lowest is about 20 something percent, 22.5 or so, but you might fall in between that. So that's the highest margin. So let me show you a tool, and I will share it in the chat. Let me show you a tool briefly, Samuel, that you can use to estimate your tax. So this is Ernst & Young tax calculator. I'm going to share the link in the chat shortly. You can put your income. So for example, I put 100K. So in British Columbia, this is your tax payable at the Atlantic region or so. What's this? Oh, is it Alberta? Yeah, in Alberta, yeah, this is the amount. In Ontario, where I am, is this. So you can play around with this tool. It will give you an idea. So if maybe you are earning half a million like me. So see, I'm paying, you see, am I not paying 53%? Look at this. So that's where it comes from. If you're earning more, you're going to pay more.
Okay.
So I'm going to share the link with you.
Damola, do you earn $500,000? I think I heard that. When is money, my ears pick everything.
All right.
Speaking life into being, like you said earlier.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay. Just like Christy advised, Samuel, please feel free to reach out to either Christy or Damola for some personal conversation, and I believe they will be able to help more. So I'll quickly jump on to the next question. And before I go to that, please, I share the link in the chat. Please, your feedback will be really appreciated. Please just open that while the questions are going on, and kindly fill the survey. Thank you. The second question is, some advisors ask you to do insurance before investing. What is the benefit of insurance before investing, and what is your advice? That goes to Damola.
Okay, good question. So, I mean, the first thing to do, the truth is investing. Is insurance. If you notice, the first thing really Christy talked about is risk management. Mm-hmm. Insurance is risk management. What you're essentially doing with your insurance is you're transferring the risk to the company. These companies they are multi-billion-dollar companies. They have money to pay out. All you have to do is just pay your premium for the period and keep it active. Before, in case anything happens to you, your family is going to be taken care of. So yes, the first thing to do, because think about it, guys. I just showed you an example. If you start investing, and people have done the same thing. You know, people that, they have investment, they have savings somewhere. But when life event comes happening, the family cannot keep up again. They cannot continue the standard of living. They cannot continue, pretty much. But what insurance gives is a lump sum payment that the family can live on for at least for the next 20, 30 years until they stabilize. But your investment, maybe you started investing for only 10 years or 20 years. How much do you have in investment? Maybe you have 150K. Would that be enough for the family? So yes, that is a fact. Insurance is the first thing to do before investing. But there is a product a solution that combines insurance and investment together. So you are getting the best of both worlds. I hope that answers it.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'll quickly jump to the next question, which is how would mutual fund compare to ETFs or ETFs?
ETFs.
Yeah, so how would a mutual fund compare to ETFs? Christy, are you good to go?
Yes, so how would mutual fund compare to ETFs? ETFs are basically the exchange traded fund. So I think I would say, for me, it then depends on what comparison are you looking at? Is it the one that is much more profitable, that brings returns? Or I don't know the comparison we're looking at, because it's somehow vague. So I don't want to give a vague response and say, oh yeah, ETF is good because it's cheaper or is standardized. Like exchange traded funds, there are so many stocks or assets that are in that bucket. So I need to know if the person can just explain further what you want, what comparison are you looking at? So I don't give you a vague response.
If Mimi is still here, please. Okay, she said maybe he or she said by definition.
So exchange traded funds is standardized. So we have a lot of assets on this fund. So definition, that's what exchange traded fund is. It's
okay, maybe you just want to know the difference between the two of them or what they actually mean.
So if I can come in, Christy.
Okay, yeah, please do. Thank you.
So ETFs, mutual fund is an active management fund. So what active management means is that you have professionals, okay, financial professionals managing the administration. They are administering that fund. They are managing the daily activities of that fund, from investment to everything. They are professionals, a team of professionals managing it. ETFs is a passive managed fund, meaning that professionals are there, they're managing it, but not as much as an active management. So it's under what is called the passive management strategy, which comes with low cost, because the professionals managing your funds, they will not go on with a handshake. Mm-hmm. You pay them, and of course you don't pay them directly. They pay they have it's called MER, management expense ratio. It's going to be deducted from the returns on the mutual funds. ETFs doesn't have a lot of overhead in terms of MER. The MER is low, so it's always better in investing to do ETFs, which is passive, because you can reduce your cost. Returns are equal; they're the same. And one thing that ETFs also provides you is in tax. It gives you tax advantage too than mutual funds.
Okay. All right. I think the person just responded. I think he or she is satisfied with the response. So I'll jump on to the next one, which is how does index funds like S&P 500, VTI compare with mutual funds in the long run from management fee perspective?
That question is not clear.
How does index funds like S&P 500, VTI compare with mutual fund in the long run from management fee perspective? I think in terms of maybe administrative charges or something.
Oh, charges. Oh, definitely. Again, once it's active management, I mean, fees can be up to 3%, 3.5%. But index or passive funds, which is the indexes, they are very low. Maybe less than some. The ones that I am providing are definitely less than 1%. Are definitely less than. So in terms of fees or charges, yes, index investing is way cheaper. Way cheaper.
No, okay.
I mean, you can't get any better. There's no other cheapest way to invest apart from index.
Okay. All right, thank you. Just 2 questions more, and I want to wrap up in the next 5 minutes. The next question says that, sorry, I think I missed that. Okay, says that which gives higher return, mutual or index fund? that which gives higher return? Christy, are you able to?
Index fund. I
And
think
mutual
they're allowed.
No. It's going to be mutual funds. Because the thing about mutual fund is those portfolio managers, their objective is to outperform the indexes, to always beat the market. So yes, they most of the time, I mean, maybe 95% of the time, they beat the market.
Okay.
So in the long run, mutual funds will perform way higher. I mean, we have mutual funds that are doing 66% in returns in 1 year.
Okay.
In 1 year. So you cannot beat that. There's no index that can do that in 1 year.
I think that answers it then. So okay.
No, but I think sometimes mutual fund is now very predictable in terms of returns, Damola. So basically, the indices are less, they're not predictable, and then they can actually outperform the mutual fund.
True.
So
that's why I said 99%, 95%, sorry.
Well, maybe 95. Well, I'm not
in the short run. Let me put that caveat in the short run.
Exactly. Okay, that's right. Okay.
All right.
The long run index will always do better, definitely.
Exactly. So.
All right.
Okay. I can.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You guys have a lot of information to offload to the class. So maybe we'll look at booking a round 2 for both Damola and Christy. The matter of the fact is we like to be very considerate of people's time for these sessions. We have overshot it for the day. So I would say if your question wasn't answered, we will make a compilation of them and share to both Damola and Christy to respond, and we will share that back to the group. Also, this video will be posted on our YouTube channel so that you can also still come back to get any wisdom nuggets that you have. But all in all, sorry to cut the session short, but it's like I said, it's important. Everyone has had a long day, and it's really important that we try as much as possible to stick to time. Please fill out the survey that Akin has posted. And I'm sure the speakers, both Damola and Christy, have shared their contact details in the chat. Please do that again for our readers, for our attendees for the session. But all in all, I want to really thank both Damola and Christy for the time today. I want to thank you all for, it has been a class of ones and zeros. I've been pressing my calculator to count whether the rule of 72 applies to me in a negative or a positive way. And I've been checking to see if all those GICs, I should put all of them in one carton now, run, and tell Christy, do half, Damola, do half. And then at the end of 5 years, I know who I'm going to sue, but all in all, I think it has been a very informative session. It's really sad that, we don't really have the time. We try and keep our sessions to 90 minutes maximum. So I want to say a very big thank you to you for the information that you have, really loaded us with. Please, everyone on the call, reach out to them, connect to them on LinkedIn, connect to them through their contact information, email, phone numbers, or their social media handles. But, I want to say a very big thank you as well to those who have taken out the time to attend the class. Akin, I want to give you special recognition because you actually stepped in to moderate this session last minute. Last minute. So thank you, everyone. And please kindly do fill out the survey as well. It is really important to the speakers and to us as well as an organization to make sure that the processes are utilized effectively and are making the change that we want to see. Akin, please don't forget, collate all the questions and share with Damola and Christy at the same time.
All right. Yeah, just one question left. I'll pass it to them.
Thanks, guys, for having us. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And yes, I dropped the link for our YouTube page there. You can subscribe to the YouTube page. Once the video is uploaded, you can have access to it. I wish everyone a beautiful night rest. Thank you. Bye.